By Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank, for all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Friday, the 8th day of November 2019. I trust that everyone had an enjoyable, peaceful, restful evening, and that you're all raring to go today. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, again, we urge you to be extremely cautious. Please ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember that the life you save may be your own. We understand already that there's a vehicular accident on Shamrock Road, what we call Spot Street, somewhere in the vicinity of Ocean Club. 2 vehicle accidents, so there is a possibility that in that area only one lane may be clear. That's an area where traffic will normally back up anyway because of the roundabout there, the Christy Tomlinson roundabout, and having to yield to traffic coming on from the Rex Crichton Boulevard as well. So traffic is normally pretty slow in that area. Again, we urge you to be extremely careful because it's in that bumper to bumper traffic that sometimes you have a tendency to take your eyes off the road to do something, and then you realize or you believe that the car in front of you has already moved, and you take your foot off the brake, hit the accelerator before you look in front of you, and lo and behold, the car is still in front of you and you run into the back of it. So there should not be a lapse in your attention even when you're in bumper to bumper traffic as well. We want to wish those of you who are celebrating a birthday today a very happy birthday, or if you have celebrated one in the past few days, a belated one, or if you will be celebrating one over the long weekend as well. We wish you a happy birthday, and we simply say to you, whatever you do, do it in moderation. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we extend our condolences to you, and we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and the management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. Our phone lines are always open. There is always someone there waiting to take your calls. This morning, again, it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number is 534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, email us at For The Record. That is one word, For The Record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us on 925-3261, where we encourage you to send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. We have no guest in the studio this morning, unfortunately, and certainly didn't have sufficient time to make alternate arrangements, despite the fact that there were some guests that we really would have loved to have on this morning, but unfortunately that won't happen. So those of you who have your pay-as-you-go phones, I would encourage you, and you like to call into the show, I would encourage you to get top your phones up, because today you will have the opportunity to talk probably a little bit longer than you normally would. There is so much to talk about this morning. We have the opening of the Legislative Assembly. The throne speech will be delivered by the governor. This morning we have the headline news, depending on which newspaper you look at, whether it's print or it's in digital form. You will see some headlines, one that reads overturned, and there are others that have various captions, and I will share those with you as well, because yesterday the Court of Appeal delivered their judgment on the government's appeal against the ruling of the Chief Justice in relation to same-sex marriages. So lots that can be discussed there. The legal minds amongst us can talk about that if they have had the opportunity to peruse the judgment. I see where some individuals have shared copies of the judgment itself as well. So lots to talk about. And you don't necessarily have to top up your pay-as-you-go phones either. We have a toll-free number that you can call, 1-800-534-8255, toll-free. It doesn't cost you one thing to call in from that. I will be sharing with you also some articles from Tradewinds newspaper this date, or very near to this date in time in 1965, 1966, in relation to the opening of the Legislative Assembly here in the Cayman Islands as well. I'd like to talk a little bit about the ruling here. Like I said earlier, the Court of Appeals ruling. We can conjecture, we can guess what the government may do as a result of that. I will share with you the statement that was put out by the Premier, the Honorable Alden McLaughlin, yesterday in relation to that decision as well. I will share that with you. We can take a look at the Bermuda situation, the case where in 2017 the court ruled in favor of same-sex marriages. The legislature, the Parliament of Bermuda, changed that. There were legal challenges, and at this point in time, it is we're not certain yet whether or not they have actually formally submitted an appeal to the Privy Council in Bermuda. But what we do know is that the UK Foreign and Commonwealth Office and the Minister for the Overseas Territories, they have made a decision that this basically is a local issue as far as Bermuda is concerned, and they were not prepared to make any changes by order in council in the case of Bermuda. When you look at the Court of Appeals judgment here and their proclamation as well, I'm not sure how legally binding that decision is, but they were certainly very strong in their proclamation as what they expect the legislature or the governor or the UK to do in relation to offering to gay couples the equivalent of marriage, of what heterosexual couples are allowed to enjoy, the equivalent of that, and I'm paraphrasing now, the equivalent of that should be offered in the case as well. So it'll be interesting to see if at the end of the day our legislature chooses to do nothing, whether the governor chooses to do nothing, and then whether the UK government will do and say and do as they have done in the case of Bermuda, or where we will have two policies for the overseas territories. One policy for Bermuda where we do absolutely nothing, and one policy for the Cayman Islands where if the legislature refuses to enact legislation, if the governor then doesn't normally the equivalent of what the governor would do and what the UK government would do is almost the same. The UK government could instruct the governor to bring legislation into effect, or the UK could pass legislation by order in council as well. But overall, the decision will be up to the UK government if our local legislature, which we understand will soon be called a parliament. We got that little hint from, not more than a hint, the Premier did state it on Wednesday. We haven't seen a release yet in relation to what the UK has agreed to in relation to our constitutional changes, but we will see whether or not our legislators choose to pass legislation. We're almost pretty close to another election year, and of course that will be first and foremost on the minds of our legislators in terms of whether or not it will be politically correct and politically advantageous to pass or not to pass legislation that extends rights to same-sex marriages in the Cayman Islands. It'll be interesting to see what happens and whether or not anything of substance is mentioned in the governor's throne speech in relation to that, or any responses that may come as a result of the debate of the governor's throne speech as well. So we will wait to see all of those things. Right now, we'll take a commercial break. When we return, I will start sharing things with you, and the phone lines are open if you want to call in and voice your opinions as well. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the historical vignette series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank, Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
On August 19, 1948, 24 Georgetown women sent a historic letter to the commissioner, which stated,
Sir, we the undersigned residents of the District of Georgetown, having examined and obtained legal advice on the Constitution of the Cayman Islands, find nothing therein which denies a woman the fundamental human right of taking part in deciding who shall govern us. Therefore, we declare that it is our intention to exercise our constitutional right to vote today, August 19, 1948, according to our conscience, in the election of vestrymen for the District of Georgetown. Should this privilege be denied to us by the officials in charge of the election, we shall demand the government to give just reasons for making of no effect the laws it has sworn to uphold. We have the honor to be, sir.
Although no women voted in the 1948 election, on May 29, 1957, 358 women from 7 districts signed similar requests. And on December 8, 1958, the Sex Disqualification Removal Bill passed into law.
Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
It's time to start planning for the best family event of the holiday season, the Cayman National Parade of Lights, happening in Camana Bay Saturday, December 7th. With $4,000 in cash prizes up for grabs, now is the time to get your boat signed up. $2,000 cash will be going to the lucky winners of the small and large boat categories. Check out the Cayman National Parade of Lights Facebook page to register your boat, or email info@hurleysmedia.ky for your chance at $2,000 cash. Cayman National Parade of Lights in the Camana Bay Harbor on Saturday, December 7th, 6 to 9 p.m.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Back by popular demand for November only. It's your sale, your choice at Vamp Motors. Vamp is making it easier than ever for you to drive home a real deal, where you can choose how much you'll save on your new vehicle and whether you want to get cash back or add-on upgrades to it. Save big on the new Ford Explorer, F-150, Edge, EcoSport, and Focus with up to $5,000 off select vehicles during our November sale. Get huge savings on the Toyota RAV4, Rush, and Fortuner as well. Best of all, you decide if you'll take the full discount, get cash back, or upgrade your new ride. It's your sale, your choice, but only during November. So come by Vamp Motors on Walker's Road, where your new SUV or truck is waiting for you to drive home. I'm starting my shopping early this year. What you want for Christmas?
All I really want for Christmas is for my packages to arrive on time.
Plan ahead to get your shipments into Seaboard Marine on time and avoid the holiday rush. Check out their great less-than-container shipment rates. Seaboard saves you time, money, and convenience with consolidation and repacking options available. Take a load off Santa this holiday season. Shop, ship, and save on your small packages with Seaboard Marine. Give us a call at 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com/grand-cayman for quotes or additional details.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Saturday, November 30, just before Christmas. You, yes, you can be the grand prize winner of $40,000 with your Rotary Central Music Extravaganza ticket purchase of only $25. Win that grand prize of $40,000. Second prize of $4,000, 6 $1,000 prizes, and more. Yes, Saturday, November 30, the 24th Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, Royal Palms, West Bay Road from 7 p.m. Music by Sugar Daddy, C&B, Leslie Duran, and Trio Caribe. Get your golden tickets now on sale through Rotary Central members, Rotary ticket sellers, and eventpro.ky. Every ticket funds a cause. Rotary Central, 50 community projects over 33 years. Your ticket can be the winner. Your ticket, your chance, your community. Rotary, connecting the world.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio this morning, so we have an open line for you to call in. I believe you have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, OC. Elvis, how you doing?
Good morning, Elvis. I'm fine. How are you?
Beautiful, man. Just sitting down here, just watching the rail roll by.
Yes.
Yeah, OC, I say, talking about the human rights business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know of any other country in this world, I don't know about the other world or the after world, where that you're required to take a urine species if you're in an accident? I can understand you go to test for alcohol, but anything that you get in the Cayman Island, the first thing the police is asking for a urine test for drugs. And if you don't give it up, you're still charged for refusing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that gotta be. I know they started that stuff in the United States and they dropped it because of lawsuits. But we, the poor people in the Cayman Islands, and the picture of it all is to paint everybody with a drug record and make the whole world know, oh, don't go down to Cayman. There's so much against drugs. Lie. It's a lie.
But Elvis, there are many jurisdictions that still have that on the books, and it's really to determine whether or not you were operating a vehicle under the influence of. Go ahead.
I know that, OC.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's just like your job. Certain jobs, you can't drink with a pilot. A pilot can't drink within certain hours.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
still have a drink when he's off.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, my friend. But I'm talking about, listen, if you go fishing and you steal 10 cocks over and the police got arrested you, I want you in test. I mean, it's like a natural thing in the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay, but anyhow, OC, I would like to say this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Good over evil, whether some people think it's evil, I think it's their business. You see the ruling in the court there?
Mm-hmm.
You knew it was coming, right?
Yes, I did. Well, my prediction was I didn't expect it to be overturned. The Chief Justice's judgment to be overturned. I didn't expect it.
Okay. Well, see, I listened to you. You are a very smart man,
Thank you.
And you hang out with very smart people, Mr. Steve and Miss Chris.
Oh yeah. That's where I can learn.
Listen, I know smart people when I hear it, but it's just the political way, just saying we can blame it on the court, and now we can blame it on their old England,
mm-hmm.
but don't blame it on me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You understand?
Pass the buck.
Yeah. Don't blame it on me. Kick the ball down the road. You understand?
Yes.
But it's just like I told them now, the politician now, they got face to judge people.
Mm-hmm.
So they got face to judge people this election, and they got face the other people with the gay rights.
Mm-hmm.
And do not forget the ganja man.
Yes.
The ganja man commits to this discrimination against people and jailing our own people for nothing. It has to stop.
Okay. Got your point on that, Elvis.
Huh?
I said we got that point. We got the point. Thank you. Go ahead very quickly. I have another caller that we're going to try to get before the 8 o'clock news. Go very quickly.
Okay. I am just saying, why they can't, why they can't get, what those people got through? Because they got what I now got. They got a nice education, and they're lawyers, and they got people with money. Lawyer people is backing them.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But that's how we go now, so they got to face them. And I'm just sitting by and waiting.
Your turn will come. Your turn will come.
Listen, I will sit down one of these days, and I will hear them say, yes, Elvis or my grandchildren come on my grave and say, Papa, you dead and gone, but I can smoke my spliff in peace. Have a nice day, O.C.
Thank you. You too, Elvis. Let's grab the other caller. Not a whole lot of time. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. I just want to comment on some comments I made on Wednesday on your talk show.
Okay.
It was regarding what is happening in this country. And the comments that I made, some people has ways of twisting your words to suit them.
Mm.
But what I meant when I said that it was too late for a lot of the things that is happening in this country right now is true. But it's not too late to do something about what is happening today.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
So some people, you have to spell everything out. Some people can read between the lines, but that is how people react when they just want to twist your words and put it to suit them. So I did not really appreciate that. So I just wanted to make that clear. I want something done about what is happening
now. Yes.
Now. Mm-hmm. All right?
Can't resurrect the past, but we can certainly deal with the future. Present and the future. Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much. You do as well. I think I have enough time that I can read this as well. It says, good morning. I respectfully entreat our government not to appeal this civil union ruling. Our education is terrible. Our waste is piling up. Hogstye Bay is under threat. Forget about re-election. I will not vote for anyone who wastes my tax money. Well said to that listener and that writer as well. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, folks, I have a lot more to share with you. The Premier's statement that was put out yesterday in relation to government's response to same-sex marriage appeals success. So please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now is 7:59. And this time check brought to you by Price Right.
Price Right is Grand Caymans Warehouse Shopping Superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Price Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Price Right, Grand Caymans Warehouse Shopping Superstore.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Sagicor. Let us put a smile on your face. Call 949-8211.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Kersley Fuller. The Caribbean Financial Action Task Force advised to strengthening in Cayman's business practices in a report from March 2019. In a response to this recommendation, the Cayman Islands Anti-Money Laundering Steering Group's Money Laundering Typologies and Trends publication has been created. The publication is a compilation of details of past real-life criminal attempts, locally and globally, involving real estate, drug trafficking, jewelry, nonprofit organizations, corporate services, tax evasion, and trade. The examples are being used to enhance Cayman's knowledge, as Attorney General Sam Bolgen says. Providing these actual cases will help them to develop even more effective policies and procedures to prevent, detect, and respond to these crimes. Though the publication's main focus lies on money laundering, it also describes past cases of terrorist financing and proliferation financing. The government announces it will hold a series of public meetings in an effort to inform the public about the proposed cruise berthing facility and enhanced cargo port project. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has the details.
8 meetings are planned to take place at different locations across the island. There will be presentations as well as question and answer opportunities with officials from the Ministry of Tourism and Verdant Isle Port Partners. The IPP is the group selected to construct the cruise terminal and cargo port enhancement project. In a statement late Thursday, Deputy Premier the Honourable Moses Kirkconnell said critics claim the government has been keeping secrets and not sharing information about the project, but says all of the various studies and reports had been posted online since 2015 for public review. He also said some 30 press releases have been issued, 4 public meetings held, and 2 press conferences to keep the public abreast of developments. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
New and current measures on attracting less wildlife at Cayman's airports are to be discussed at an upcoming meeting of the Wildlife Hazard Working Group. The Cayman Islands Airports Authority is inviting members of the public to attend the meeting on November 18th at 10 a.m. in the CIAA conference room. Attendees will have a chance to interact with CIAA and airport personnel and to ask any questions they may have about wildlife control measures and deterrent practices. A statement says the authority aims to raise awareness not only to their airport partners, but also to the neighboring communities. In other news,
I say have a good time, get to know each other, and let's have some fun and make sure that each one of our students gets the best advantage they can get as they progress through their high school career and ultimately life. Thank you.
Chief Executive Officer Will Pinot welcoming some 50 mentors and mentees into another year of the Chamber of Commerce's Mentoring Cayman program during an opening reception at Triple C School. Mentoring Cayman provides high-achieving Year 11 students the opportunity to develop a long-term relationship in the business community or government by matching common interests and career choices. Over the next 6 months, they will have the opportunity to have several workplace visits where the mentors will offer up career guidance and support to their mentee. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with David Austin. Police in Hong Kong have appealed for calm after a student died of injuries suffering a fall during democracy protests. They deny police were nearby at the time, but are promising an open inquest. Vigils have been held and flowers laid across the city for the student, Chow Ji-lok. A record 16 wildfires are burning at what's classed as emergency level in Australia's New South Wales state. 50 more blazes are classified as out of control. 1,000 firefighters have been deployed, but the strength of the flames is stopping them reaching everyone affected. On the eve of the 30th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, the U.S. Secretary of State has said that authoritarianism in countries including Russia and China poses a threat. He accused Moscow of invading its neighbours and killing its political opponents. It's the final day of campaigning in Spain's general election, which is being dominated by the issue of Catalan separatism. The socialists of the Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, hope to get a majority, which they currently lack. Police in India have detained hundreds of people in the run-up to a Supreme Court ruling on a religious site in Ayodhya that's disputed between Hindus and Muslims. Dozens are being held for inflammatory comments on social media. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Sagicor. Let us put a smile on your face. Call 949-8211.
Think about something that makes you happy. Did it make you smile? We know it did, because that's what we do at Sagicor. Put smiles on our clients' faces every day. With a large range of products to cover your family, it's no wonder most locals choose Sagicor for their life insurance needs. Serving the community for over 25 years. Let us put a smile on your face. Call your Sagicor advisor today.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
New name, new owner, new management. The TC Paint Shop is the authorized dealer for Sherwin-Williams in the Cayman Islands, and we are ready to serve your needs. We have got the very best quality makeup for your home and your commercial building. All at the TC Paint Shop is Sherwin-Williams paint. So does your home need a little makeup on it? Come and see us. Does your office need a little makeup on it? Come and see us. Lipstick, eyeshadow, face mask, all Sherwin-Williams style. 943-0565, 27 Godfrey Nixon Way. We are so looking forward to serving you soon.
Logic presents The Change Project, a campaign that highlights the reality of cyberbullying and the mental health impact it has on teens, parents, teachers, and families. Few people speak up when they witness cyberbullying, but we can change that together. We can strive to make a difference in our community by promoting responsible internet and social media use in the Cayman Islands and beyond. Will you pledge to make a safer, friendlier world online? Visit thechangeprojectcayman.com and take the pledge today. Proudly presented and supported by Logic.
On Friday at 12:15 p.m. on Radio Cayman, you can hear a CI Retro Talk Today Remembrance Day program, which will give you a snapshot, word picture of Caymanians' sacrifice, dedication, and perseverance in defense and preservation of freedom and democracy. That's today at 12:15 p.m. on Radio Cayman. CI Retro Talk Today is being brought to you by the Ministry of Culture.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Thinking of decorating your home or your apartment? Then Super Stitch is the place for all your household needs. We have sheets, comforters, bathroom accessories, curtains, and a whole lot more. We are the original curtain store with curtains for every room in the house. Some special Nolan curtains for $10 a panel. Yes, just $10 a panel. Come see us today at Super Stitch. Super Stitch, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
A pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 89%. Barometric pressure 29.89 inches and rising. The wind is east at 5 knots. Overnight low temperature was 79 degrees. Synopsis indicate light northeasterly winds and slight seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours due to a slack pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving west to southwest. Now the forecast for today and tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s today and will fall to the upper 70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. We're presently at a high tide and the next low tide will be this afternoon at 1:37. High tide again tonight at 7:18. The sun will set this evening at 5:47 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:30. And the outlook is calling for an increase in cloudiness and showers as a tropical wave moves into the western Caribbean from tomorrow evening. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Superstitch Sewing and Fabric Center was the proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Superstitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky.
Thinking of decorating your home or your apartment? Then Super Stitch is the place for all your household needs. We have sheets, comforters, bathroom accessories, curtains, and a whole lot more. We are the original curtain store with curtains for every room in the house. Some special Nolan curtains for $10 a panel. Yes, just $10 a panel. Come see us today at Super Stitch. Super Stitch, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 628-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
After a hurricane, be sure to immediately report any broken or damaged water mains to the Water Authority. Our emergency helpline is 946-HELP. That's 946-4357. The Water Authority will use all available communication channels, including local media and social media, to inform its customers when the water supply is available. For more useful hurricane preparedness tips, visit the Water Authority's website at www.waterauthority.ky or follow us on social media.
America's #1 acne brand Proactive is now in stock at Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor. Take care of your skin and stop chasing pimples with Proactive. Their combination therapy approach is a preventative strategy that gives you a complete, multi-step skincare regimen and acne-fighting medicine. Proactive attacks acne at every stage of the cycle. Proactive is recommended by dermatologists for a reason. It works. Ask for Proactive at Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor.
The cruise berthing facility will not have any upland development, which means cruise lines will not own or operate any retail or commercial space within the cruise terminal. This is a win for Cape Ann.
Looking forward, looking bright. Support our port, support our tourism.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Top of the morning to you once again. Let's check on traffic. On the Linford Pearson Highway, bumper-to-bumper traffic. Slight delays expected as you're heading down to Georgetown. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, steady bit flow in traffic. And traffic is busy off the Linford Pearson Highway on Agnes Way. Slow moving traffic on Koo Road. Some sections moderate, other sections steady. Coming from the West Bay 4-way, stop in both directions. Traffic is light to moderate. And on Edward Street and Shedden Road, traffic moving along pretty good. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic is flowing moderately. And just to remind you, Albert Panton Street and, Fort Street will be closed between Albert Panton Street and Edward Street from 8:30 until 10 this morning. That's from 8:30 until 10 a.m. And traffic traveling in this area on this morning is advised to exercise caution and to follow all instructions given by the traffic officers. That's what's making traffic this morning. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll update you once again on your traffic. Remember, click it or ticket.
Do you ever have those days when you have to get a super early start, or you're out late at night and want something fresh and healthy to eat? Subway has now opened their third 24-hour location for you early birds and night owls. Subway Countryside in Savannah is now open 24 hours. So now you can grab any of Subway's fresh menu items any time of the day at 3 convenient locations: Countryside in Savannah, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers West Bay. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after.
BritK protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after.
Visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
BritK, where people come first.
Rising Stars Dance Ministry is proud to present the annual Dance for Christ, Saturday, November 16th at the Church of God Chapel Family Life Center, featuring visiting U.S. artist Malia Bailey, UCCI Dance Group, Dream Chasers, JJZ Dance Ministry, Dance Unlimited, J Prophet, Famous Cousins, Cernan Biblical, Victory Tabernacle Dance Group, Christ Cathedral Youth Choir. MC for this event will be Cheryl T. and many more local talents. Tickets are only $10 pre-sold, $15 at the gate, and children under 12 are only $5. Tickets are on sale now at Funky Times and Christ Cathedral. Dance for Christ is proudly sponsored by Burger King, Domino's, Wendy's, Link International, Funky Times, and Radio Cayman. This November 16th, don't miss out on Dance for Christ, brought to you by the Rising Stars Dance Ministry.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. No guests in the studio, so we're going to have open line all morning for you. I encourage you to keep the emails coming, keep the WhatsApp messages coming, and the phone lines are open as well. One of our listeners wrote and said, now that the Court of Appeal has delivered the judgment, the people must now see that our local legislators do what they were supposed to do. Let's hope that the UK does not now have to step in for failure on their part. Caymanians, let's get behind our representatives to act urgently, even if we have to take to the streets to have it done. Our outcry that the Chief Justice was wrong proved what Caymanians have long said. So that is one opinion from one of our listeners who has written that. Sort of a little difficult to tell which side this person is arguing on. Obviously, they have pointed out that there was their outcry against the Chief Justice's ruling. So obviously they were against the Chief Justice's ruling. So I'm not sure now if they're asking our legislators now to do nothing or what. If that writer is listening in, a little bit more clarification would help in this situation. Meanwhile, yesterday, on the 7th of November 2019, government's same-sex marriage appeal successful statement. Premier Honorable Alden McLaughlin welcomed news today that the Court of Appeal has allowed government's appeal in what has become known as the same-sex marriage case. And I read, quote, I am pleased that the Court of Appeal has agreed with government that the original ruling brought significant ambiguity surrounding the Constitution and Bill of Rights and the interpretation of and ability of the court to amend laws. We believe it was critical that the country had the benefit of clarification on these very important constitutional issues, Mr. McLaughlin said. While I do appreciate the ruling, I am mindful that it comes with a declaration that requires immediate action from the government. I will reread that. While I do appreciate the ruling, I am mindful that it comes with a declaration that requires immediate action from the government. The Court of Appeal declared that Chantel Day and Vicky Borden-Bush are entitled expeditiously to legal protection in the Cayman Islands, which is functionally equivalent to marriage. government has three primary points of concern, or government had 3 primary points of concern with the original ruling of Chief Justice Anthony Smelly QC. Firstly, the implications of the court's decision for other types of marriages, for example, polygamous marriage, and whether government would now be bound to give effect to or recognize such marriages if an application for a marriage license is made for a man to marry multiple wives. So what the Premier is saying there is that the Chief Justice's decision had implications for other types of marriages, which the government had its concerns about. Secondly, the second concern related to the extent of the powers of the court under Section 5, subsection 1 of the Constitution to modify legislation on matters such as the right to marry, bringing into question the appropriate separation of powers under the Constitution, and whether by exercising these powers under Section 5, subsection 1, the court has exceeded its mandate under the principles of separation of powers. So the whole principle of separation of powers was a question that they believed needed to be resolved by the Court of Appeal as well. And a third concern was whether, given the language in Section 14, subsection 1 of the Constitution, it was open to the courts to find that the right to marry and found a family could be located in other rights within the Bill of Rights, namely Section 9 and 10 of that Constitution. So I believe this has to do more or less with a strict interpretation of the Constitution or a loose interpretation of the Constitution, and finding in other subsections that something that may not have been intended by the framers of our Constitution. So those were the concerns that the government had that seemed to be addressed by the Court of Appeal. And it goes on to say the government will carefully consider the full judgment to determine how best to proceed. Okay? So it is up to the government. 1, all of our legislators who are not necessarily in government, but at the same time deem the legislature to be a part of government. It's a part of the governing structure. Yes, it is. Will they now say, well, this is for the government's decision, or whether they include themselves in this as well? Will the opposition wait for the government to take a stand, to make a move, or will they instigate it? Will they support the government in this regard? Those are all questions that need to be answered. We do know that several legislators saw this coming down the pipeline. I believe the government, to a certain extent, saw it coming down the pipeline as well, because in my reading yesterday, there was an indication in there, and I'll try to find that to share that with you, that the Attorney General did concede that the government needed to, or I won't say was prepared to, but needed to provide some sort of protection, some sort of avenue for this couple, and whether or not that should be done in the legislature or otherwise. So I believe that was a point that was conceded by the government. Now, the question is going to be whether or not there is the political will to do it with an election due in 2021, whether or not the political will to do it is there. I believe that this is a point in time where we will see whether or not the religious organizations in this country, how much sway, how much power they have vis-a-vis those in the public side who believe that some sort of protection, some sort of rights along the equivalent lines of rights that are given to opposite-sex marriages. We'll see whether or not the power and the sway of the religious organizations, which is greater in this particular case as well. We will see also whether or not the people of the Cayman Islands are prepared to, in this particular case, discriminate against certain groups of people in the Cayman Islands while we continue to talk about the fact and we carry on our shoulders the fact that we are a Christian, loving country. Let's see whether or not now we demonstrate that we love everybody, that we care for everyone, and we feel that everyone has rights as well. I believe we do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. How are you today?
Good morning, ma'am. I'm fine. How are you?
Not too bad, Not too bad. You sound kind of lonely. So.
Well, thanks for joining me.
Okay. Thank you, too, for taking my call. And I was so glad to hear Susan again. I mean, all of you do excellent jobs.
Thank you.
And glad to have Radio Cayman. But, we keep, in my opinion, we keep saying that we're a Christian country. And I wonder where it come from. Now, to say that, I mean this. Years ago, when we believe in the good God Almighty came to this earth, was crucified, and we say we were Christians. Nowadays, the churches, Orrett Connor is a church, and they're supposed to be serving one God. Now, I never hear, I've said this before, I never heard of any church making any protests, assembling people in the middle of the town, by the town clock, about abused children, about sexually abused children, raping, whether it's boy, girl, taking their life away from them. What has happened to the churches? We're kind of biased. We're biased. We do what fits us and what fits our religion at the time being, yet we're setting a bad example. The pastors of the church, they say, we have to love each other. We have to do this. We have to do that. Those two gay people that was in court, we all know who they are. They are professional people. One a lawyer, one a nurse. They're not hurting anybody. They're not depending on government to support them. Nothing like that. Leave them alone. Pay attention. All of you churches out there, pay attention of abused children especially abused children, abused women, pastors molesting children. We see that over and over. Then, if you want to make a big uproar about it, I will join that one. We bias. We bias bad. We have churches these days that tell people what to wear to church, and we call ourselves Christian. Now, just a few days ago, I seen in the newspaper advertisement for workers, and we know ourselves that we're not going to get Caymanians working as a chef, advertisement for a chef for $5 an hour. He has to work $5 an hour, perhaps, serving many meals that cost $25, $30, and $40. And so no Caymanians ain't going to play for that.
But would that person share in gratuities and tips?
Listen to me. That again is an option. If I don't get good service, then I can say I'm not paying no gratuity. But that's not the thing, OC. A professional chef for $5 an hour, and companies hire them because they know they ain't going to get any Caymanians to work. Now, how can one sleep on that and then we call ourselves a Christian? Like I say, it's bias. Then again, I seen another ad, $5 an hour to check in people. In other words, front desk, bartender / server, $5 an hour. Or see, something has to stop, because then we end up with people that is coming from their own country abroad that can't get jobs. Some of them are professional, but they can work for $5 an hour, while our own Caymanians go to needs assessment.
Call a question for you very quickly, because I've gone past the commercial break, but a question. In talking about same-sex marriages, same-sex couples, do you believe that Caymanians who are in such relationships should leave the Cayman Islands and go to other jurisdictions where they are afforded such rights, or should they stay in their country and fight for their rights here?
I believe they should stay in their countries and fight for rights. You know something else, OC? I know you said you have commercials coming up, but some of our educated young people, I have one right here. I have to go off this island to get jobs. No church is not protesting about that sort of thing, and then yet we see our people talking about we're the Christians and we're the Christian. What kind of example are they setting for our young people that have the education? Sure, they should stay right here, and if they want people to march with them, I'll be one.
Okay.
Because we're too biased.
Thank you very much, caller. Way past my commercial break. You have a nice day. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Saturday, November 30, just before Christmas. You can be the grand prize winner of $40,000 with your Rotary Central Music Extravaganza ticket purchase of only $25. Win that grand prize of $40,000. Second prize of $4,000, 6 $1,000 prizes, and more. Yes, Saturday, November 30, the 24th Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, Royal Palms, West Bay Road from 7 p.m. Music by Sugar Daddy, C&B, Leslie Duran, and Trio Caribe. Get your golden tickets now on sale through Rotary Central members, Rotary ticket sellers, and eventpro.ky. Every ticket funds a cause. Rotary Central, 50 community projects over 33 years. Your ticket can be the winner. Your ticket, your chance, your community. Rotary, connecting the world.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Sometimes things just don't go as planned. That's why you need Contractors All Risk Insurance from Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Ensure you're covered in the event of property damage and third-party injury or damage claims during your construction projects. And with Fidelity Insurance Brokers, you can be sure you are getting competitive pricing and superior customer service. Call us today for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Run off the extra helping of turkey dinner and give back in a big way this Thanksgiving. Register now for the Meals on Wheels Turkey Trot 5K and 10K Fun Walk Run on Saturday, November 30th at the Holiday Inn Resort in Safe Haven. Registration is only $25 and there are lots of spot prizes to be won and complimentary omelet station. Help Meals on Wheels fight senior hunger in the Cayman Islands. Visit mealsonwheels.ky or register at caymanactive.com. See you there.
Always ensure that food preparation utensils are washed with a strong detergent and rinsed in hot water in the event that they have made contact with flood water. Boil silverware for 10 minutes and immerse glass, porcelain, china, and plastic items in a solution of hot water and 10% chlorine bleach before use. For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DEH website at deh.gov.ky.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio, so we have an open line all morning for you to call in. I received a response from the writer who had written earlier that said that now that the Court of Appeal has delivered the judgment, the people must now see that our local legislators do what they are supposed to do. Let's hope that the UK does not now have to step in for failure on their part. Caymanians, let's get behind our representatives to act urgently, even if we have to take to the streets to have it done. That writer person clarified my question and gave clarity to my concern in relation to what side they were leaning on. And the person has written back and said, OC, the legislators must act on the Court of Appeal's judgment and not lay back like they have done in the matter in the past. Hope that is clear now. So we know what the Court of Appeal's judgment is. We know that they overturned the Chief Justice's ruling, but at the same time made a proclamation in terms of what should be done. We have a caller. Two callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, OC. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm very well. I couldn't help but call in because of your last caller. She's right in many instances regarding the churches.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have said time and time again that the churches that have just sprung up here in Cayman, let us not talk about the Adventist Church because they're good. They've done good for Cayman. They've had they've made many contributions. I love that Adventist church, even though I'm not of that faith.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember growing up as a young boy in East End, they were very, very active with regards to vacation Bible schools and the lights and having socials for the young kids in the evenings and stuff. And you got the other religions like Church of God Universal, which I grew up in, and I cherish near and dear to my heart, and the Presbyterian. They were the New Testament church. They were the predominant churches in the island at those times. But let's see, if you look around this island, every corner, every shopping center, there is a church, right? It is no secret that these people just come here. They get off of Cayman Airways one morning from Jamaica, and the next morning they got a church open there, but they call you pastor. You probably don't even know the correct verses in the Bible, but you hear as pastor, and bagging the money, and doing what you're not supposed to do with the money, right? Until this island becomes serious. I mean, not the island, until the government, and I'm not saying just government, any government becomes serious and say, listen, hang on, we got to stop this here now. Every week there's a different denomination, there's a different name of a church springing up here. We got to put some regulations on this, right? They ain't doing nothing for Cayman. All they're doing is taking from Cayman. That's all they're doing is taking from Cayman. And somebody's got to get the cojones to get up and say, listen, this ain't happening no more. There needs to be some regulation put on this. And like the caller said, the church is absent.
Caller, how would the government go about doing that, though? How would the government go about restricting the number of churches that you could have on the island?
See, it's just like everything else. I mean, so are we going to sit down and let ill gains be legalized within the country? Because we know that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They register on the non-profit. They don't have to show no books, nothing of the sort. Something needs to be done. Something needs to be done with these people, because it's a shame and disgrace what is happening here with these loaded churches that we have here. A shame and disgrace, right? And tell me all them won't you see spring up there. Show me one thing they're doing in the community. Show me one thing they're doing. Okay, Adventist Church, they got a school. They help out the people who can't afford sending children to school. They help out in that regard. They help out in mental health. Just that. Church of God Universal with Truthview School helps out many children. Right?
But caller, I understand your your strong emotions about it. But how? My question is, how do you? If I, as a person, and I get a group of people, and we decide that we want to celebrate our faith amongst ourselves, how do you regulate that? How do you?
But okay, all right, Oti. Fine, fair enough. Now, you asked the question how you regulate it.
Okay.
9 out of 10 them, more than half of them that come here and profess to be pastor is here on work permit. We need to get a work permit for him to come in here. No, don't give that no work permit. Don't give that no work permit to come in here. We got enough of them here now. So you can start right there. You can regulate from right there. Come in here with work permit, but pastor. The truth to be known, he probably picked up the Bible the first time when he came in here.
It's going to be a tough call on the government. I wouldn't want to be in a government to have to make that decision when we claim to be such a strong religious country, and then we go about denying people the right for them to practice and enjoy their religion. Kind of tough. But caller, we have a few more callers queued up as well. I want to thank you, for your comments, and it's certainly food for thought. And I must say that you're not the only one who's of that opinion as well. Next caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Hello?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Jose. I hope you're having a good day.
Yes, I am. Thanks. And I trust you are as well.
Oh, God is good. I leave it to him. He takes care of me, so I am. But speaking of this thing with churches and stuff like that, I often wonder, when I see, as the previous caller talked about, where I drive through Westway, and I think it's about 3 or 4 churches here, or 2, I think it's 3 churches, I think, unfinished. No, but I don't think they even have church in some of them. The fact is that government has to step in. Not everybody that says, remember Jesus said that, not everybody says Lord, Lord means that he's a Christian or he's, and he went in, Jesus himself went into some of these places where they were taking advantage of trying to get people to come into these places because they call themselves a synagogue. And then he went in there and he found that there were money exchangers and they were selling that and thing. And he went in and he was so angry. He just swiped it off the table and said, get out of here. I don't, And we need a government that says enough is enough. We got too many of these fly-by-night people that come here, call themselves preachers and stuff. And I've seen them, I listen to them. And it's the easiest way in the world to get.
But caller, unless someone is able to establish and to prove that these churches are doing something that is criminal, something that is legally wrong, how in the world can we decide that they shouldn't be practicing their religion?
I'm getting to that. What I'm saying, I'm not against people who are genuinely.
But how do we know that they're not? I haven't heard anyone yet complain. We've heard some people complain about the fact that they were using their Section 80 status as non-profits to be able to bring in goods without having to pay duties on them. We know that Customs and Border Control has that under control, as well. But I haven't seen one church yet prosecuted in the courts for malfeasance or anything else.
No, because you see, this is because I think because it is a church, that some of those legislators I've spoken to who talks about it, but because it's a church, they don't want to be the ones to say, well, we can do this. But I'll give you an example. I know people that were ex-drug dealers in this island that have churches now, that have a church, okay?
And what's so wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
Mm-hmm.
It is because that
your religion doesn't believe in the fact that a person can be redeemed.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, I heard a statement from that person one time, which makes me think that he is prejudiced because he talks about Jamaicans and he didn't want. Never mind. I'm not going to get into the details, but I'm telling you, when we get people here, let's get their degrees from a school of where they went to get the stuff with it. And now what I'm saying, OC, it came out of the place that look at we got too many beauty parlors, we got too many bars, too many everything, and it's given to them because it's $1 in it for government to get a license. And that's what they do. I went to a place.
No, it's given to them because we're a country where we extend basic freedoms to everyone. And that is why it's a free market economy. And that is why it is so important that we extend rights to Chantel Day and Vicky Bush Borden as well. No, you're saying that the government is doing this to get money. The government is doing it because we have a constitution and we have a Bill of Rights that affords rights to all, I wouldn't say all and sundry, but it's intended to afford rights to everyone. Call, I'm going to ask you to leave us there, though, because I'm past the break and we still have another caller. We're going to take a commercial break. The caller who is on hold, hang in there. As soon as we return from this commercial break, we'll be with you. Please stay tuned.
I'm starting my shopping early this year. What you want for Christmas?
All I really want for Christmas is for my packages to arrive on time.
Plan ahead to get your shipments into Seaboard Marine on time and avoid the holiday rush. Check out their great less-than-container shipment rates. Seaboard saves you time, money, and convenience with consolidation and repacking options available. Take a load off Santa this holiday season. Shop, ship, and save on your small packages with Seaboard Marine. Give us a call at 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com/grand-cayman for quotes or additional details.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Saturday, November 30, just before Christmas. You can be the grand prize winner of $40,000 with your Rotary Central Music Extravaganza ticket purchase of only $25. Win that grand prize of $40,000. Second prize of $4,000, 6 $1,000 prizes, and more. Yes, Saturday, November 30, the 24th Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, Royal Palms, West Bay Road from 7 p.m. Music by Sugar Daddy, C&B, Leslie Duran, and Trio Caribe. Get your golden tickets now on sale through Rotary Central members, Rotary ticket sellers, and eventpro.ky. Every ticket funds a cause. Rotary Central, 50 community projects over 33 years. Your ticket can be the winner. Your ticket, your chance, your community. Rotary, connecting the world.
Logic presents The Change Project, a campaign that highlights the reality of cyberbullying and the mental health impact it has on teens, parents, teachers, and families. Few people speak up when they witness cyberbullying, but we can change that together. We can strive to make a difference in our community by promoting responsible internet and social media use in the Cayman Islands and beyond. Will you pledge to make a safer, friendlier world online? Visit thechangeprojectcayman.com and take the pledge today. Proudly presented and supported by Logic.
Tossing and turning, can't sleep? It's time to turn in your old mattress and go to bed with a new one. Take advantage of the fantastic savings on mattresses at Brand Source Home Gallery. Browse the huge mattress showroom and pick the perfect mattress today at 30% off. Brand Source Home Gallery has tons of new inventory from Sealy, Posturepedic, Carrington Chase, and Tempur-Pedic. With mattresses in every size to suit every budget, now's the time to save 30% and sleep better tonight. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park. Sale ends November 16th. Call 623-5000 for more information.
Radio Cayman 3 to 6 mix on the weekdays. Brought to you by
Cayman Insurance Center, serving the community for 45 years. Don't take chances with your family's future. Call Denise Brown at 814-7229 or Michael Webster at 925-5433.
Every day.
Every day. All the time.
All the time.
Also brought to you by Merengue Town.
It's time to feel the rhythm, time to feel the vibes. It's time for Merengue Town.
On Friday at 12:15 p.m. on Radio Cayman, you can hear a CI Retro Talk Today Remembrance Day program, which will give you a snapshot, word picture of Caymanians' sacrifice, dedication, and perseverance in defense and preservation of freedom and democracy. That's today at 12:15 p.m. on Radio Cayman. CI Retro Talk Today is being brought to you by the Ministry of Culture.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. One caller that we lost a caller. Caller hung up before, so I'm going to share with you. One of our writers has written in again. I think this is a very valid point here. They write and say, if the Tara Rivers versus Hewitt matter could have been appealed, the result may have been different. Now it seems we are stuck with a bad decision. Let's hope that our legislators see it fit to have the Constitution amended, our Constitution, that is, our Constitution amended, where such matters of that nature can be appealed. By having no right to appeal, we may be stuck with a bad precedent, which could be where the Chief Justice could have also gone wrong again. And again, I must say that there are many people, including legal luminaries, who share this view as well. We have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, Mr. O.C. It's Johan. How's it going, sir?
Good morning. I'm fine, Mr. Moxham. How are you, sir?
I'm all right, sir. Just thought I'd help you out because you seem to be flying solo this morning. But nobody's in the studio, right?
No one's in the studio, but we're getting an echo. We're getting an echo from you, sorry.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we are.
Much better? Okay.
Yes.
No, Mr. O.C., just wanting to, again, this is truly an emotive topic, and there are people that will really get out and get upset over the entire sort of ruling and the same-sex marriage discussion in the Cayman Islands. And everybody's entitled to their views. You know, there's a religious bend to it. There's an emotional bend. There's the Cayman is a historically Christian based country, and all of those other things. But when you slice this up and you remove all of the emotion to this, the one thing that nobody has captured or is speaking about is the fact that wherever you sit on this issue, the one thing I think that we can all agree with as sensible people is that no Caymanian should be discriminated against in the Cayman Islands or be subject to a second-tier sort of standing in any situation.
Exactly.
The reason why I say this is we know, former Chief Immigration Officer, Cabinet Secretary, the whole 9 yards. You're an experienced man in the government system. I know, many people know, that there are persons here, and this is no slight on persons that come on a work permit because they're here to contribute, make their money, and they choose to live here, and we choose to give them the right to do so, the system that is. But when you can have persons on work permits have their significant others respected and acknowledged and able to stay on the island as dependents to their work permits, which, again, I have no issues with any of that. Two consenting adults choosing to spend a life together, that's on them. The more the merrier. It's people loving people, right? I have no issues with that. But when we have a system that formally acknowledges, facilitates the discrimination of a Caymanian, whether it be these two brave ladies or anybody else, that has to live their lives by a secondary sort of set of rules where they are not allowed to have their family situation and their relationship acknowledged here in the Cayman Islands, and their Caymanians, especially one of them, one is a multi-generational Caymanian, the other lady comes from Cayman heritage and roots. The fact that we find nothing wrong in discriminating against their rights lets me know that as a country, all of those things that the Bible teaches us about fairness and rightness and justice goes out the window, because move past the whether you approve of how these two people live their life. That is nobody else's business besides them and God. That's how I view it. But the fact that we ignore the fact that this is official discrimination, official sanctioning of bigotry and intolerance, whereby a Caymanian choosing to live in Cayman with their family, with their child, is frowned upon, and rules are not amended to ensure that they are afforded the same privileges and rights of persons on work permits and persons from the outside. We really have to look at ourselves in the mirror and ask the questions, what are we doing?
Yes.
The only thing worse than that is to know that there are people who would use the Bible, elected people that would use the Bible to justify their legal positions, yet their own sins, and I'm not God judging anybody, are no different from the sins that they are seeking to legislate and protect Cayman against. We have homosexuals in the house right now. We've always had homosexuals in the house. We have sexual predators in the house. We have people that are on record as being known domestic abusers in the house, yet they will be the first ones to clutch the flag, grab the coat of arms, He is founded upon the seas, and deprive these people or justify the deprivation of, or depriving these people of their rights based on some fallacy that Cayman's Christians' heritage means that we fight against these things. What about just being fair, reasonable, and right?
Exactly.
And doing the right thing.
Exactly, Mr. Moxham. We've passed the 9 o'clock hour. I want to thank you very much for that. And phone lines will be open until 10 o'clock this morning, so please feel free to call back if you so wish. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after Headline News, 9 o'clock.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present. Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news. Access.
Local, regional, international, this is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
Today sees the state opening of the Legislative Assembly, throne speech, policy statement, and budget address. Prior to the opening, His Excellency the Governor will inspect a guard of honor from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. The speeches delivered will mark the start of the parliamentary debate around government's 2020-2021 budget. Member responses will be when LA resumes at 10 a.m. on November 13th. Australian authorities say an unprecedented number of emergency-level bushfires are threatening the state of New South Wales. More than 90 blazes were raging across the state today. Gusty winds and up to 35 degrees Celsius heat have exacerbated the fires, many of which are in drought-affected areas. Billionaire businessman Michael Bloomberg is, quote, strongly considering entering the race for the U.S. Democratic Party's presidential nomination. The ex-New York City mayor is concerned the current field of candidates is not good enough to beat Donald Trump in the 2020 election. The 77-year-old is expected to file paperwork this week for the Democratic presidential primary in Alabama. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. We're going to try to connect with a couple of our regular guests on For the Record by telephone as well, and to do a phone interview with them to get their take on the ruling by the Court of Appeal, which was handed down yesterday. There is an article in Cayman News Service on their website, and I said to you earlier, I spoke about the fact that the government had made some concessions in their presentation, and here's a paragraph from that article. It says that while the Attorney General's chambers had accepted during the course of the appeal that they must accommodate same-sex unions, government has so far refused to provide the legislation. However, since the appeal court did not give the CIG a specific timeline as to when it must act, despite the order, the status quo could remain until the government intervenes. But I believe that while the court didn't set a timeline, they expected prompt action in that regard. Seems as if also, here's another part of that article, says, responding to the ruling, Ben Tonner, who represented Day and Bawden throughout, said that they would take time to reflect on the judgment. They noted that the court had acknowledged that government's long-standing and continuing failure to provide protection to couples like Day and Bawden is a violation of their rights, describing the ongoing situation as, quote-unquote, woeful. But they were disappointed, that is, the respondents, they were disappointed with the more conservative approach taken by the Court of Appeal. And what it appears as if the respondents wanted was the Court of Appeal to uphold the decision that was rendered by the Chief Justice, Justice Anthony Smelly, and that was not the case. And he's also quoted as saying, although the Court of Appeal has stated that an equivalent framework to marriage is required without delay. Those are the words, without delay. Now, do we take the literal meaning of without delay? That means you do it now. You don't delay, you do it now. Just like we say, don't leave for tomorrow what you can do today. In this case, you must do it today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't do it tomorrow. So that is the case. So they say, although the Court of Appeal has stated that an equivalent framework to marriage is required without delay, it has also decided that the government may continue to deny same-sex couples access to marriage itself. And say in doing so, it takes a more conservative view than the Chief Justice, who earlier this year had ruled that the indignities to which the petitioners and their daughter have been subjected to should be put to an immediate end by the court amending the marriage law. He added, Turner said his clients are mindful that they could appeal to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council and will be considering that option as he extended their thanks to everyone who has supported them throughout the historic case. So here is my question in that regard as well. If the government were to make accommodations for same-sex unions, then would the couples be satisfied with that? Or would they still go the full course and appeal to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, whether or not they would do that? Just like the Premier has stated in his comments that there were certain issues that needed to be resolved in relation to the actions and the decisions of the Chief Justice, then maybe through, by way of an appeal, we will get a final ruling as to whether or not the Chief Justice's decision is correct or not. We can only know that if it goes to the final court, which is the Privy Council. We can only know that. So they have stated, the respondents have stated that they will take their time and make a determination in relation to that. And there are costs associated with taking cases to the Privy Council. First of all, you have to get leave from the Privy Council for it to be heard. There are costs associated with it, and there's a long time lag between a decision as well, and whether or not the couples want to continue to be not having their situation resolved while they await a court, while they await a decision by the Privy Council, whether or not they will take up whatever the government offers if the government puts legislation in place. But that is the big question, whether or not the government will put the legislation in place. And if the government doesn't do it, whether or not the governor and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office will do so. when we look at the case of Bermuda, we see that the government, UK government, has said they're not going to intervene. We have our own constitutions, and they're not going to intervene in that issue. So they have basically said, pass the buck. Let's see what our legislators will do here in the Cayman Islands. Will something similar to what has occurred in Bermuda occur in the Cayman Islands? And we await then for the case to go to the Privy Council and a judgment from them. We have callers on the line. Let's go to the callers. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. We're going to ask you to be as brief as possible. We have someone else queued up behind you. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Wusi. Good morning.
Morning, sir. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I didn't know that it was my time. I
okay.
Didn't hear it
no problem. No problem.
With regards to that issue, I won't speak very much on it. It's just that we have to be very careful of preventing people from practicing Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be very careful. We see what happens in the Eastern world and the Arab countries in particular, the Islamic religion. And incidentally, people tend to mix up denomination with religion. It's 99% of the denominations here are Christian. But it's a Christian denomination of the religion here. It's just the differences in different denominations, but the same Christianity. Because we see the oppression that they're under, even their very lives threatened, and some being killed and so forth in Arab countries that we do business with. And so we have to be careful with restricting it. The child is an adopted child. Is it a child, or is it the child belonging to one of them? Because the child would have a father. I don't like to say it. So I just wondered what his position was with all this kind of thing.
Not certain, but I'm not sure that. Do you think that is significant?
No, I don't. I
okay.
just wondered when I heard that there's a child.
Mm-hmm.
Is the child would have to belong to one of them, or an adopted child,
mm-hmm.
or the child would have a father, whether it's adopted or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't hear any mention of that, so I wondered. Anyhow, I think what they need to do is explain what a civil union is, because you have like a man and woman. We know that what we call common law, living together. We know they have certain rights and so forth, but is there some sort of ceremony to be presided? Because people have asked me this question by a justice of the peace.
Yes, I think in civil ceremonies, there is a ceremony that is officiated on. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes. So the ceremony will then say that this couple is granted the different things that required by law required. We're a crown colony, so we'll have to accept anything as long as we're a crown colony. The very British governor, Lord Sligo, who wrote that document pertaining to abolition, was read out here in May of 1835, he was against freeing the slaves, and he says so on the document, but he was commanded to write the document. So if he was commanded, a crown colony, he had to write it. It's there on the document. Slavery was already abolished, as we know. It was a matter of ending the apprenticeship or free labor thing. That was what that document was all about.
Mm-hmm. In answer to your question about a civil union,
yes.
It is described as being a legally recognized union of a same-sex couple with rights similar to those of marriage. A civil union is a legal relationship between two persons that provide legal protection to the couple only at, this is in relation to the state level, but it provides legal protection to the couple. So things like, for instance, being able to pass, to inherit from your spouse, to have that person named as a beneficiary on your pensions and things of that nature. The same rights that heterosexual couples have.
Yeah, I mean, you could do things by what do you call it again? When you have someone be your legal representative or whatever.
Power of attorney?
Power of attorney, yeah. I just would like to thank you also for that program with the premier and the
Mr. Miller. Yes,
it was an excellent thing and an enlightenment to all of us. Many of the things that were revealed and talked about there, and I must commend them highly, very highly, and explain many things. I've always maintained that we have elected 19 people to be our voice. You cannot have 25 or whatever it is, 21,900 now elected voices to control the country. It would be chaos. We cannot do that. We can't go to them, to ourselves again, with issues that we should decide. I have always believed that the 19 members should get together and decide on moving the Constitution forward. Always, shouldn't have to come to the people to amend the Constitution, only in a very, very serious incident. It should be done like with something to require, because the referendums can be avoided if we have more meetings, political district meetings. You'd have the feel of the people. You'd know it more, and the district council should be put in place. That's one of the first things they should do.
Yeah,
but
you shouldn't have to do a survey. You shouldn't have to do a survey to know what your constituents are thinking. Yeah.
On the other, just to say this quickly, the big colony of Jamaica was a colony. They did not hold a referendum for independence. You can check your history books. They held a referendum to come out of the Federation. And immediately, I think it was in November of 61, that's when they came out. The referendum was formed officially 1958. I think it was in September of 58. And the reason Jamaica came out of it was Jamaica had more than half the population of all of the rest of the country, and less than half to represent the far less. And their constitution was much stronger. The 57 movement that they made in Jamaica essentially made the governor just a ceremonial figure. That was it. Yep. And then they decided by a referendum in February of 62, by an election, they decided to move the country forward and wrote a new constitution. I think it was presented to the public in 1962 February, and then they held elections in April, but they never did.
Okay.
So the referendum was to come out of the Federation, which Mr. Manley then said, I will prepare my government or my people for independence. That's what he said.
Caller, thank you very much. We passed our commercial break, way past it. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
During the greatest events of your life, whether or not you have the right health insurance coverage should be the last thing on your mind. That's why at Fidelity Health, we are committed to helping you get matched with the right plan to suit you and your family. We offer a range of plans to suit your budget, plus access to a network of quality care throughout the Caribbean and the USA. You can relax and enjoy life's greatest moments when you are covered with Fidelity Health. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote.
Pirates Week is sending out an SOS to all soca junkies.
Sounds of Soca is bringing the biggest, baddest soca artists to Harbor Drive. Friday, November 8th, dance to the sounds of Earth and Alves, Alison Hines, and the Queen of Bacchanal, Destra. All backed by the Bacchanal Band. $30 pre-sold, $40 at the gate. Gates open at 7 p.m. But that's not all. It's a vibe with Nessa Preppy on Saturday, November 9th. Free. SOS also features some of Cayman's top DJs and entertainers. Sounds of Soca. A weekend of street dances. Friday, November 8th and Saturday, November 9th. Get your tickets now at Winner Circle, Blackbeard's Liquor, and eventpro.ky. Sounds of Soca is sponsored by Ministry of Tourism, Department of Tourism, Ministry of Culture, AI Rentals, Ace Hardware, Bacardi, Cayman Airways, Sharkies, and brought to you by Radio Cayman.
Did you know the current Constitution of the Cayman Islands is the fourth written constitution for the Cayman Islands since the original in 1959? The latest was established by the Cayman Islands Constitution 2009, 10th of June 2009, and came into force 4th November 2009 by a proclamation published by the Governor of the Cayman Islands. It was amended by the Cayman Islands Constitution Amendment Order 2016, the 13th of July 2016, which came into force by a similar proclamation. Brought to you by Celebrate Cayman in celebration of the 60th anniversary of the Cayman Islands Constitution.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have two callers, but before we go to those callers, I just want to read this in relation to the top discussion on religion. This person has written in and said, Santeria is a religion, Satanism as well. Are they allowed to practice their religion here free of prosecution? Well, we would have to look at the laws of the Cayman Islands and to see whether or not our laws ban the practice of Santeria in the Cayman Islands or Satanism as well. And it is our law or our laws are the ones, are the instruments that govern this our country as well. And I just want to say to our previous caller, he thanked me for the show with the Premier and Mr. Vaughn Carter and Mr. MLA, Mr. Ezra Miller, and all of the kudos need to go to Celebrate Cayman, Mr. Alfonso Wright, and his co-chair and his staff for putting that on as well. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. Good morning, OC. I wasn't sure if it was me because you said two callers.
Yes.
So I just want to say that I'm calling to challenge you, unfortunately.
Sure.
Yeah, you said a comment that struck a small nerve in me in respect to saying that we shouldn't have to survey our people in order to know how they feel about matters.
Uh-huh.
Now, I get what you're trying to say in respect to general things.
Yes.
And that may be true in that sense. But when it comes to sensitive nature, particularly when it comes to stuff like same-sex marriages or marijuana or anything that is controversial, I think it's important that we do that.
Because it goes beyond, it's wider than your constituents. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I want us to be mindful of that kind of view, because I think that's where we're going wrong as legislators sometimes, that we presume that we know what the public feels about matters. And to be honest with you today, I don't think anybody can say clearly that they know exactly how the country feels about this unfortunate situation that we found ourselves in respect to the ruling, to say that we have to find some solution to equality of rights by the ruling. Now, what does the public want us to do in respect to this? Do they want us to do nothing? Do they want us to challenge it? Do they want us to just go ahead and find some sort of legislation that is recommended by the appeals court? So it's important that we survey the people on these serious matters. Now, if you say, should we put a road down the corner there to make traffic more efficient? You don't have to go to your people about that. But on national issues like this, it's important. Where we go wrong a lot is presuming that we know what the people think. Because sometimes, particularly in Cayman Islands, people are very reserved in their feelings because of the controversy of it. They don't want to tell you in a public format, even a public format of their own home. They don't want you to know. So they would rather have those things done in secret. And I think it's the best way to represent. So that being said, I want to encourage the public. As many may know already, I've started the CVNS, which is the Caymanian Voices National Survey, which will be held also on referendum day at exactly the same time, just outside the boundaries of the polling stations across the Cayman Islands. Come and take part. And the questions have a lot of relationship to the unfortunate the ruling that we got from the appeals court just yesterday, as well as some other matters like the decriminalization of marijuana. They ever talked about national lottery, and I encourage people to take part because it does give good direction onto matters that continue to come up and that are sensitive in nature. We do have a role as legislators, but sometimes we have to go back to the people, and I think some of these issues are the ones that we need to go back to because you can see, based on the Premier's statement, they now have to go back and calculate and assess what the people want them to do because they have no clear decision made yet, and it's because they have to assess. And how do we do that assessment process? I think it's healthy for us that we do more polling, more surveying, so we can have a more accurate conclusion as to what we need to do on behalf of the people. That being said, I appreciate you allowing me the time because I know that you're on the show by yourself, and I apologize I couldn't be there today.
And don't forget you were supposed to send me something. We talked about that this morning. I
did actually. I'm not sure if you got it or not.
Okay.
And it's in relation. If you want me to, I can just
send it to for the record at candew.ky.
Oh, I sent it by WhatsApp. I apologize to your WhatsApp number. But that being said, I'd love you to go on your show. Today is a big day, and I'm here at the LA now, and we're getting preparation for the throne speech by the Premier and the Governor, and to move forward. And I would encourage people to listen to what the proceedings, because particularly with the ruling yesterday, I'm certain that the Governor and the Premier will have some sort of comments in respect to it. So it's interesting because it's the trying times to see what direction we're going to go in.
Okay. By the way, I did get it on WhatsApp. Yes, it's here.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good morning. Okay.
Thank you very much. You too. Okay. All the best. Next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm just fine, but a bit upset because everybody with their kinky desires come to Cayman and they want us to invent the wheel for them. We need to follow our Constitution. Bible is our Constitution based on the Bible, and stick to it. We do not have to change our way of religion to suit them. If go to somewhere else, go to another country who accept what they do, accept their kinky way of living. They don't have to shove that down our throat. And if we don't stop this bending over and giving them everything they want, these people, I don't care how Caymanian they say they are. They've been un-Caymanian by their association with other kinky people. So go to a country who do that for them. Because if we bend over,
even if they're Caymanians, they should go somewhere else.
I don't care who is kinky. You're going away from the Bible. So what they need to do is stop bending over and changing our Constitution, because everybody with their kinky habits, stay indoors. Stay indoors. Do it indoors. If you're ashamed of it, and if you're not ashamed of it, get married. Make the picture thing. We don't have to give her a legal document. Everything they want, then everything the person that come and want us to change the law for every other name they have for their nastiness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. We have a few more callers. Do we want to take another call or go to do the break? We're going to take a commercial break. We still have some callers on the line. We will accommodate all of you. Just hang in there after this commercial break.
Back by popular demand for November only. It's your sale, your choice at Vamp Motors. Vamp is making it easier than ever for you to drive home a real deal, where you can choose how much you'll save on your new vehicle and whether you want to get cash back or add-on upgrades to it. Save big on the new Ford Explorer, F-150, Edge, EcoSport, and Focus with up to $5,000 off select vehicles during our November sale. Get huge savings on the Toyota RAV4, Rush, and Fortuner as well. Best of all, you decide if you'll take the full discount, get cash back, or upgrade your new ride. It's your sale, your choice, but only during November. So come by Vamp Motors on Walker's Road, where your new SUV or truck is waiting for you to drive home.
Saturday, November 30, just before Christmas. You, yes, you can be the grand prize winner of $40,000 with your Rotary Central Music Extravaganza ticket purchase of only $25. Win that grand prize of $40,000. Second prize of $4,000, 6 $1,000 prizes, and more. Yes, Saturday, November 30, the 24th Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, Royal Palms, West Bay Road from 7 p.m. Music by Sugar Daddy, C&B, Leslie Duran, and Trio Caribe. Get your golden tickets now on sale through Rotary Central members, Rotary ticket sellers, and eventpro.ky. Every ticket funds a cause. Rotary Central, 50 community projects over 33 years. Your ticket can be the winner. Your ticket, your chance, your community. Rotary, connecting the world.
This is our new chicken cheese pop. Popcorn chicken meets fried cheese bites, breaded with the 11 herbs and spices of our secret recipe. The collision of flavors that triggers your true cravings. Escape through indulgence with a new chicken cheese pop from KFC. It's finger-licking good.
Available for a limited time at KFC Shedden Road and KFC Baytown Plaza. Dine in or drive through.
Do you own a Cayman parrot?
They are a protected species, but people have been allowed to keep them as pets for years.
It's opened the door to nest robbing and illegal trade of our national bird.
We need to stop it, but we should also give current Cayman parrot owners a chance to keep their bird legally.
If you own a Cayman parrot, you have until February 29th next year to register it with the Department of Environment.
Find out more about parrot registration by calling 949-8469 or emailing doe@gov.ky. Let's protect our Cayman parrots.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have a few calls on hold. Let's go straight to the phone lines as promised. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Okay. Since you said it was open mic, I have a question.
Sure.
Or I have a problem, and maybe you can tell me how to solve that problem.
Okay.
Recently, there's been some work done in the Newlands area. The Water Authority has cut up the roads, and now they've gone and left it. All they did was fill in the big trenches that they've cut in the road back in with the marl. And the roads are completely filled with marl, which when it's windy, it's blowing the dust, on your house, blowing it in your mouth if you open your mouth outside. And now that we've had a little bit of rain, the rain has washed the marl out of the trenches.
Do you know if those trenches are for new services or for repairs?
It doesn't matter what it was done for.
Well, it does to a certain extent, because if it's done for repairs, then they may still leave it this way it is before repairing, completely repairing it, in the event that they have to go back in if the repair isn't successful. That's why it makes a bit difference.
What it appeared to me is like they were putting in new water lines.
Okay.
And like I said, they have now wrapped up and they've gone. But all they did was cover the roads back with the marl that came up while they were trenching. And as I said, there was a problem with the marl out there and the dust blowing, in your house, your vehicle, your clothes, everything. And now that they've had a little bit of rain, the rain has washed the marl out of the trenches. what we have now is roads with, trenches in them at least, I would say like 3 feet wide and across the road. So when you're driving, you're having to swerve in and out of the trenches and the potholes.
Mm-hmm. And how long has it been like that?
Several weeks.
Okay.
They have been gone for several weeks. They haven't said anything to anyone in the neighborhood, whether we are finished, we're going to come now and sweep the road off, we're going to come and water the mall down, or we're going to put your blacktop back on.
Mm-hmm. Did anyone try calling the water authority to get a response from them?
I certainly did not. I had to go out and speak to them one morning because they were cutting in the front of me, and when they're trenching, the marl comes up like in a mountain. So I had a mountain of marl blocking my gateway. And so I went out to them and I asked them, how long they plan to keep that there.
Mm-hmm.
They said, no, I asked them when they were going to move it. They said, whenever I wanted it moved, I said, well, you need to move it now. I need to get out. And you can't block me in my place. You have to move this along. Anyway, they did flatten it down a bit so that I could get out. But the problem that we are left with is the trenching in the road, the entire roads, and, as I said, the rain now beating the marl out of the trenching.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if they intended to come back, sweep the marl off, water it down, at least that we can get rid of some of the marl blowing up on us in our cars and stuff, and whether they intend to put the blacktop back down.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think they're legally required to restore the road at least to what, if not better than to the condition that it was in when they dug it up. They were required to do that legally.
Well, I would imagine so. And I hope that this is not one of those cases where, we're going to be forgotten and this goes on for years and years where we have to be fighting to have the roads restored.
Yeah, I'm sure that knowing the water authority and the management there, that they're extremely mindful of their reputation, in terms of the community, and they're very community-minded, so I'm sure that they will get on top of it. I would suggest making a call to them. We will call from here on Radio Cayman as well to alert them to it, and hopefully you will see some action fairly soon. Caller, I want to thank you very much for that. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning, ma'am.
A very important topic you guys have got on this morning regarding, everything pretty much, but regarding the case that will come out of the case of yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
It is, I don't know how you put it, it's very disheartening that this is where our country is going to, because, and knowing that Cayman being a Christian foundation, and knowing what our Constitution enshrined for us, that what was defined as our Constitution was made in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
We had it enshrined that this was what our religion was, and
we defined marriage. We defined marriage there, and we also defined it in law that marriage is between one man and one woman. So we try to make it as clear and legally clear as possible, and I think that the Court of Appeals decision recognized that as well.
Well, that's the truth,
Mm-hmm.
and it is so sad. And we understand that they're at least one of the people that are fighting now is Caymanian,
Mm-hmm.
but we can't blame Chantel and her spouse for what they're fighting for, because that's their right.
Yep.
But where we went wrong was when the Cayman Islands government decided to make the decision to give Mr. Radovich and his spouse the rights to become to be legal in Cayman.
Mm-hmm.
We should never have amended, and that's where that should be put on the referendum that's coming up. That question should be put there,
Mm-hmm.
whether we want civil unions or not in Cayman, because we will be breaking our Constitution to please somebody else. And Chantel being a Caymanian, and I've spoke to some of her family members, and they're not pleased with her decision, but that's her choice. And she didn't, wherever she picked that up, she should actually, in my opinion, go back there where she can practice it, because I don't think that we should have to amend none of our laws. And again, when we were told, the governor when the governor got on the show just before we had, or while they was waiting on the ruling of that case, he said that he had signed it off more than one person for the same civil union. It is wrong because the public did not approve that. That was a case that was pending before court, and we should never have even went that road. So now that's why we are forced now to bring on, I want to please Chantel them now because we've did it for everybody else.
Yeah, I don't think it was legislation. I think it was a policy in relation to it was more of a policy than it was a law that the governor may have been referring to. But you have a valid point, very valid point.
But I mean, our immigration law plainly stated that was what was. Now we amended our immigration to please those people. In my opinion, that's what we did. Now that's why everybody else now is no.
The policy, it wasn't a law. It was the policy of immigration that. Rather than a law, it was a policy. But again, your point's well taken. Yeah.
And Miss again with Miss Sherdine, are you talking about the minimum wage salary we got? Government needs to look into it. If you have a minimum wage, is it CI $6 or $6 US? What is our minimum wage? Is it $6 CI or
legal tender in the Cayman Islands is Cayman Islands dollar, so it should be CI.
Well, I think that the government, whoever is in work or whichever department is in charge to oversee this, needs to come around to a different environment, different establishments. Let me get it straight. Different establishments and check out. I don't know how they can prove because I know for a fact because I spoke to a lady yesterday, and a souvenir shop in Georgetown is giving them $6 a person, US dollars per hour. And they're saying that they're legal. Now, you can't tell me. I mean, this is why we got so many expats here because they're getting $6 and they're accepting it because $6 US is better than what they were getting in their own country back home.
Yeah.
And we need to, and government needs to look into it. This is a racket that's been going on for 15 years, and somebody needs to look into it.
Good point. I hope the authorities are listening on that. If not, I'll pinch someone as well. Thank you very much, caller, for that. Have a great day. One of our listeners has written in and said, and the truth of the matter is that the European courts have declared that same-sex marriage is not a human right. Therefore, the ruling of the appeal court obviously has taken that into consideration in their what could be termed a highly balanced ruling, which also takes into consideration our Constitution and the long-standing principle of marriage between a man and a woman. We must too recognize that the government of these islands perhaps was guided by the fact that a high percentage of its community was and probably will remain with the heartfelt opinion for at least a while that marriage is and must continue to be between man and woman. Obviously, political votes are a hefty component of the decision-making by the government. So true. Now that civil union by the courts has been proclaimed, it relieves the government somewhat and perhaps will soften the opinion of progressive followers whose government's hands have now been tied by the ruling, so to speak. I think that is well put by that writer. This one says, if Cayman passes a same-sex marriage law, Cayman is opening Pandora's box because what is going to be next? Same-sex church in the Cayman Islands. We have a caller. We need to take a commercial break. Okay, we're going to take the caller first, and we're going to go to the commercial break after. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connor. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I had too bad, but bad. But anyway, I had a call this morning because you see the lady before the last one. It's true what she's saying because when we have to buy rock opinion and all that, coming out of our gate.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really bad. And they came and they just scrape it down and just left it just so. And when you come out, it's still, they finished. It's completely finished. They finished, do what they had to do. It's finished. But all they just come and rake it and just leave it just like whole heap of dust and muck and stuff. It's terrible. But that's their problem all the while. They're always messing up in fixing the road back. Sorry to say, but I have to call and back up that.
No, they're legally required to restore the roads, and they're usually pretty good at it. I don't know what has gone wrong with them, but we'll find out. We'll find out. But I had no reason to doubt the caller before, as well in relation to that.
They left it right. They left it for a week, and somebody must have really called back, and they came back and they just come and scrape it down with the backhoe and put it aside just rake it with the backhoe. That's what they did. Mm-hmm. Terrible, man. Terrible.
Thank you very much.
You have a blessed.
Thank you very much. I will certainly be making a call. Yeah, thanks. Time for us to take Time for us to take a commercial break, so please stay tuned.
By popular demand for November only, it's your sale, your choice at Vamp Motors. Vamp is making it easier than ever for you to drive home a real deal, where you can choose how much you'll save on your new vehicle and whether you want to get cash back or add-on upgrades to it. Save big on the new Ford Explorer, F-150, Edge, EcoSport, and Focus with up to $5,000 off select vehicles during our November sale. Get huge savings on the Toyota RAV4, Rush, and Fortuner as well. Best of all, you decide if you'll take the full discount, get cash back, or upgrade your new ride. It's your sale, your choice, but only during November. So come by Vamp Motors on Walker's Road, where your new SUV or truck is waiting for you to drive home.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
I'm starting my shopping early this year. What you want for Christmas?
All I really want for Christmas is for my packages to arrive on time.
Plan ahead to get your shipments into Seaboard Marine on time and avoid the holiday rush. Check out their great less-than-container shipment rates. Seaboard saves you time, money, and convenience with consolidation and repacking options available. Take a load off Santa this holiday season. Shop, ship, and save on your small packages with Seaboard Marine. Give us a call at 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com/grand-cayman for quotes or additional details.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Remember to discard all fresh fruits and vegetables, meats, all foods in canisters, dented, leaking, or rusting cans after they have come in contact with floodwater. Also discard foods that are stored in cardboard boxes, paper foil, cellophane, and cloth, as well as those in open containers and packages. For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DEH website at deh.gov.ky.
Almost 600 doctors and nurses take care of health care and medical needs. Our public health nurses made 52,000 visits this year alone. For more information on strong public finances, visit gov.ky/strong economy.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have two callers, but before that, I need to accommodate our listeners who send in WhatsApp messages and other things as well. And one listener said, what happens when people with two wives want to come? I believe that the Premier, in his statement on the Court of Appeal ruling, pointed out that there were several concerns that they had with the Chief Justice's ruling, and one had to do with those types of marriages. That has been addressed now. I would also, that has been clarified, that our Constitution and our laws cover things like polygamous marriages. So that should not be a concern. One of our listeners has written, "Good morning, OC. As a born Caymanian, I can't help but saying Caymanians are some of the most miserable bunch of people. They fuss over schools. The MLAs try to fix it by changing school curriculums, which requires school to start early. Now that they are fussing about traffic, they try to amend to change roads, widen them over. That they send police to help direct the fuss that's all over having to stand in line. They fuss about having to stand in line at banks, stores, restaurants, etc. They fuss over that some they fuss over too much. Come on, people. Lighten up. Relax. Count your blessings. Talk with your husband and wife and kids in traffic. Sing praises. Stop being so miserable." That is one caller's view, not mine. Not to say that I disagree with them in some of the points that they have made as well. 2 callers left, and we have 5 minutes. So I'm going to ask this caller to be as brief as possible. Only one caller. We still have 5 minutes left, and I have to do my little spiel at the end as well. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Again.
Good morning again, sir. Good morning.
Good morning again. Mr. O.C., I'd just like to say that with regards to that issue of the unions and so forth, I think what happens also, we have to accept the British Crown colony, as I said, whether boys or not, but at least it straightens out certain aspects of it and so forth.
But in this case, the Brits, the UK government, the Foreign and Commonwealth Office is leaving it up to us. They have done the same thing with Bermuda. They have not intervened.
Fine, which is good. And we can, of course, adjust things. I think what happens in people's minds is that, and we know that there have been women who have raised children and by themselves and with other women and so forth. But so because a child, we always tend to think a child must have a mother. I think the big problem is that, and I believe I can say this safely for the masses of us, is that it's accepting 2 men as a union. You see what I'm saying? I think that's a much more unacceptable thing in man. The thing with but then again, we have to straighten down, realize that a British Crown colony or Crown territory, we have to accept decisions that will be handed to us. It will be a long fight and haul. That's why I said about us electing 19 members who will have to fight this haul, these battles without us stepping in every minute with a referendum. We would never have a government continuously doing or trying to get things done. If we keep doing this, we have to give them the responsibility on the shoulders broad enough, strong enough to say, listen, you are going to decide this issue for us. This is the point I was making. I'm not talking about petitions, restricting petitions or anything like that. I'm talking about restricting this sudden rush to referendum. It must be thought out carefully because we see what has happened. It has divided our people. No one can deny this. There's outright vitriolic language. There's everything about things that's happening. That's very disappointing to me. We move forward. The gentleman was saying with the complaining, we move forward. We know the answer to the traffic. The most important answer is immediate restriction of vehicles coming in.
Importation, yes.
Courage. Courage is the word, Mr. Winston Churchill's famous word. Courage is the first of all human qualities. It guarantees all the others. And that is what it takes. It takes courage. Just think about it. On the part of our legislators, we can't keep blaming them for everything. We can't keep finding fault, calling them corrupt. And before they got elected, we were so gung-ho for them. It's a difference when you get into the House and see the parameters that you have to work within. It's a difference. And kudos to Mr. Wright and all those involved in celebrating that wonderful moment of our first Constitution and our national symbols. And I think that's so very important. We think of these things because we're in a very different Cayman now, very different. I mean, who are around and old enough to remember those things those times should try to adjust and accept what we are now, because it's not going to go back to that. I know many would like it, but it cannot happen. It cannot happen. It's a very, very different Cayman. Let us hope we keep our Christianity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, caller, for that. Yes, while we look in the rearview mirror, sometimes we can't see, as a result of looking in the rearview mirror, we can't see what is coming ahead of us. So that's one of the fallacies, or one of the dangers of looking backwards too much. Even though I like to look back too as well. I like to read my trade winds and enjoy what happened in the past. And I promised you that we would read about something from those this morning about the Legislative Assembly meeting in those times, this time of the year. Remember, we used to have elections in November. That was before Hurricane Ivan. And after Hurricane Ivan, 6 months, elections didn't take place until 6 months period after. So that's why we ended up with elections in May. And of course, no government wants to give up 6 months of their 4-year term. So that can happen. Maybe if we change it to 5 years and say that the first government gets 4.5 years and then the next one gets 5 years, I don't know what. But it seems as if they're quite happy now with the fact that elections are in May and budgets can be prepared. And now that we've gone with the 2-year cycle for budgets and stuff like that, everyone has made the adjustment. We adjust all the time. You know, if it's a man-made problem, then man should be able to make the adjustments to it as well. If it is one that is made by God, then we can only pray to the good Lord, and we hope, we trust His judgment, and we certainly can't undo what the Lord has done. Which reminds me of another passage in the Bible. I believe it goes like, "Judge not that ye be not judged," as well. I want to remind people of that also. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the very busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. Follow the proceedings of the Legislative Assembly live right here on Radio Cayman 105.3 as well. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands, and have a great weekend, a long holiday weekend for you as well. God bless.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank, for all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.